Welcome to the first episode of the new and Anarchist conversation. If some of you were listeners before or commenting on the Facebook page or anything like that, you may remember our old style. It was me and my buddy Steve. We used to kind of hang out and talk a lot of philosophy, issues anarchists usually discuss, and we would just kind of have a good time. It was what we kind of enjoyed doing. But now after some time, I'm kind of bringing it back with an official podcast. Brand new style. I don't want to just kind of sit around and talk about philosophy and, things like that. I want to do more of an upbeat thing and just kind of have a little bit more fun with the listeners in a sense. So I'm basically just going to kind of like jump into kind of the first episode while kind of showing you what I think the episodes are going to be like along the way. So realistically, I figure, current events, I enjoy current events a little bit, so let's talk about them a little bit. Things like what's going on right now, like Brexit, which is sparking talk about Texit and NH exit. It's interesting to watch how there's so many different angles to approach it from. You know what I mean? Like England at one time when we were the colonies had such a huge problem with the whole idea of basically secession, fought a war over it. Now they're basically seceding from a bigger union and, that's all okay. And then you go back to like the whole issue with Ukraine going back. They had a vote to secede and all these different things were going. Military came in, shut that down. So what's going to happen if United States start trying to pull a Brexit, Texit, NH exit? Is that really going to happen? Is it just a bunch of talk because it happened? Will it really spark something? Maybe. I think it will. It's certainly going to be talked about for a while. It's had an interesting role to play with the markets. It faked everyone out. Everyone bet the wrong way, basically. So we had this catastrophe right after Brexit. The Brexit vote came in, and everyone's all of a sudden swapping their, basically recovering from their bad bet on the vote. And that, messed with the markets for a few days. And everyone, oh no, Brexit's terrible for the economy. But no. This is just what happens, especially when people predict it to go one way and it goes the other. Anyway, that's enough about Brexit for now. And what's been going on with the Supreme Court? Recently, they just ruled that if you are charged with a misdemeanor for domestic violence, you could have your gun rights revoked. At the same time, they gave former Governor McDonald from Virginia a pass on, I believe it was corruption and gaming with campaign funds or something like that. Anyway, they just gave him a pass, no problem. You're part of the elite, special class, whatever. Meanwhile, and that ruling, by the way, with the Supreme Court about the guns and the misdemeanor, it's interpreted that the misdemeanor doesn't necessarily have to have intent. It could just be reckless. So, I said to one person, if I throw a lamp at a mirror and someone in my family's scared and, they get cut on the glass from the mirror, is that an indirect misdemeanor that now, just because somebody lost their cool and didn't actually even try to hurt somebody in the first place, now they can't get a gun? It's just beyond the fact that it's obviously a violation of rights. The whole concept, it's just out the window. They'll be able to wrap up just about anyone and everyone into that pretty quickly, really. Domestic violence misdemeanor with just reckless intent, not even recklessness, not intent. Anyway, enough with that. The presidential election right now, what's going on? Gary Johnson is actually hitting double-digit numbers. Am I telling you right now to go vote for him? No, not specifically. But at the same time, it's interesting to hear that he's also, it's hard to say if he's pulling numbers from one or the other, Trump or Hillary. So I'm wondering if this year maybe the defensive vote will be a little less defensive. In other words, people don't feel like, oh, I've got to go vote for A or B because the opposite is polling higher. They might just not really feel that they have to vote against somebody. You know what I mean? Instead, they might go, okay, maybe I can just vote with my principles and my conscience a little bit and get away from the Democrat and Republicans, especially when you see him polling high. He's polling high, and they can't really tell who he's hurting or helping. So with all that going on, maybe we'll have a year where the third party, he's not going to win. Maybe we'll have a year where a third party actually like makes a dent. Maybe we'll have a year where if you look at the numbers between the third party votes and the non-voters, it's like an infinitesimal fraction of people that actually voted for Trump and Hillary. If that's the outcome of the election, I think that would be huge. Anyway, presidential election aside, moving on. Another thing I thought I would do in these episodes is attempt to bring bring the listener in as a caller. I did actually get it's called a burner phone with I'm gonna figure out a way to hook it up anyway. Either just use the speaker phone on it or hook it into my system somehow through the headphones. But anyway, I've got a cell phone number 732-685-4448, and what I'm gonna do is basically during the show I'm gonna turn that phone on and I'm gonna put the show up live, so you can watch it and basically respond while I'm talking. If you hear something I said you want to call in and talk about, cool. I'm real basic. It's just me. I don't have a screening system. Yeah, if you come on and you're disrespectful and you're just trying to yank me around and not have an adult conversation, I'm probably going to hang up. Put that out there right now. That is, my freedom as a human being to not associate with you and not entertain you if you're going to come on here and just, I don't know, whatever, just be a dick or something. Anyway, so yeah, at some point I'd like to work that in. I'll be, pumping the phone number a little bit on Facebook and whatever to help you guys remember. And I'll certainly be advertising as far as when my episodes will be coming on and stuff. The next thing I kind of want to do in episodes is talk about anarchist culture in a sense. I want this to be fun. So, like, for instance, let's say music, arts in general, whatever. Like, recently I've been listening to a band called Stray from the Path. And, are all their song lyrics exactly anarchist like me or like you or, whatever. I think some of their lyrics would resonate with a good number of anarchists in certain ways. Maybe even just general libertarians or maybe even some conspiracy theorist-minded statists or something too, you know what I mean? But, some of their lyrics from their one song that's called False Flag. Fear you listening, red, white, and blue won't look out for you. Fear you listening, land of the free, ? Where's your liberty, ? We are under attack. Like they send out a message of, it seems like they see what's going on. I'd like to promote that. So, if, talk about music, things like that. And I mean, this kind of goes in with the next part too that I want to bring into these episodes, which is connecting consumers with businesses. So part of anarchist culture would be the businesses, the entrepreneurs that drive it, the agorists, basically, the agorism. So in clothing, people that make things, whatever. I talked to one girl today. I was like, hey, I saw you had advertised you make shirts or something. So I was going to talk to her about, let me interview you or something. Someone else I talked to, and I'll just bring it up right now and, kind of throw him a little shout out. Brian Ogstad. He's running a Magi Productions. That is AMAGI Productions. And basically, their mission is to inform, educate, and promote ideas of liberty and the principles of a free society. They have a YouTube channel, show, and videos. They want to do feature films, podcasts, speakers, bands, and theater. So I was thinking about having him, either call in. Maybe we'll do some sort of Skype thing or something. But yeah, I've already talked to him, and maybe on the next couple episodes, him and I will be able to work something out. But check out a Magi Productions. They've got a Facebook page, and the gentleman's name that is running it is Brian Ogstad. So other than that, basically, I'd love to talk to the listeners as much as possible. That was always something that I always wanted to have in a podcast or, anything like this, like be able to communicate and bring the listener in. So I'd really like to get that going. I did set up a YouTube channel, so I'll be putting the podcast up on YouTube. That's an Anarchist Conversation at YouTube. We have the Facebook page. I will be getting this podcast set up to go straight to iTunes every time. So yeah, in general, keep your eyes out. This is what the podcast is going to be like, and this is what I want to do with it. So let me know what you think. Get involved. If you have a business you want me to talk about, if you want to come on the show, talk about your business, tell other people about what you do as an anarchist, that'd be great. I'd love to promote businesses and connect the listeners with those businesses, especially because as anarchists, we would probably like to support the like minds, people that think like us and want to live life the way we do. So I think that would be really key. But I guess at this point I might be rambling a little bit. I think I've said enough, talked enough. Stay in touch, guys. Thanks for watching. This is the first episode of an Anarchist Conversation. Have a great day.